I have a feeling when he says no, it's not like, oh, I'm going to come back to it. I feel he means no.
No, you need to convince him that it is his idea and it's great, and then he'll go, yeah, it is great. Why aren't we doing this? And then all of a sudden, there it is again.
Because the cast wants to do it, right? I mean,
everybody was pretty much on board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the cast in the entire world, everyone except for him.
But let's be honest, though. Do you think, even with David Lynch behind it, if it came back today, they would be able to recapture what it was? They never can recapture it after this amount of time has passed. Like, I almost think it's better, and maybe that's what David Lynch thinks too, that we just leave it where it is.
Well, I think it needs to, because like Twin Peaks was one of the first what they call like water cooler shows where everyone would go and talk about it the next day at work. So it was kind of a phenomenon. And I don't know. I don't know if it would have that same kind of phenomenon again, or if it would just come back and the diehard fans would love it, and everyone else would be like, whatever.
Well, that's the other thing. So it would be hard to get new audiences engaged, I think. And I don't know. I honestly feel like you can't recapture it once you have that much time has passed. Like, the chemistry is just going to be off.
The tone's gonna be off, like the feeling's gonna be off, like that. When I rewatched it a couple of years ago, I was watching the show Open to It, and it was the slowest paced thing I think I've seen in a long time. I was like, what is this? A PowerPoint presentation of trees and a road?
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
And the music is just the piano. It's so slow.
Yeah, and again, I'm not knocking what it was. I just don't.
It's a great show.
I just don't see it coming back the same way as it went out.
I can tell you how you can bring this back.
All right, do it.
Where you have to do it.
Convince me.
You need to explore the Black Lodge and the White Lodge.
Okay.
If you start ignoring, like, started off in the town, hey, coming back to Twin Peaks, all this stuff happened. It's 20 years since the Laura Palmer murder and all that stuff. Go back into the woods and go back and... Why are the phones just randomly turning themselves on? Did anyone hear that?
What are you talking about? That was a ghost.
I did hear that. Was that the caller? That was weird.
This is creepy.
Man.
This is what happens when you talk about Twin Peaks on the air, man.
Make sure that's
weird
on
shit happens.
passive, not talent mode. Good.
Yeah, that guy wasn't talented.
No, you started in the town, but then you moved back into the lodge, and the Red Room and the Dancing Dwarf and Bob and all those crazy things, and explored the lodges, because they were just getting to that point when the series ended, and Bob possessed now Agent Cooper.
Right.
And then he smashed his head through the mirror in the bathroom and went crazy, and that's all you saw of it.
I hate to say this because I'm normally not against this thing, but I almost feel like a reboot would be better, because then they could start from scratch. They could relook over some of the things that maybe didn't work pacing wise with the original series,
and maybe fast forward through the Palmer murder,
and fast forward through some of the stuff that was it tripped over itself a little bit, and kind of boil it down to the essentials from the original series, and then take the story past that point, and then you wouldn't have to recapture that chemistry. You'd be recreating it with new people.
Yeah, I don't know how many fans would go for that though. A complete shot for shot reboot type thing. Well, I mean, if David Lynch was at the helm, then yeah, I would probably go for it.
That's what I mean. Like, and again, you know me, like, I think you know me well enough by now to know that.
Oh, I know you, buddy.
Hey, I'm not a fan of reboots, normally speaking, but I just think that in this case, I don't know. I think there might be a benefit to it.
I can see that.
All right, I'd go for I'd go for anything Twin Peaks right now. I don't know how we got it sucked into this here. When I was just saying we were talking to Carla Gugino a little bit later, and Wayward Pines. That's how we got there. Wayward Pines. Definitely see that show. But she's also in the movie San Andreas that's coming up
with The Rock.
I think towards the end of June.
Yeah,
with The Rock. So we'll talk to her about all these things a little bit later. Also, legendary actor, and I will say very intimidating, Mr. Sam Elliott.
Yeah, man. He's been in like everything.
If you don't know who Sam Elliott is, ask your dad who Sam Elliott is. He's been in almost every kind of Western.
He was the stranger in The Big Lebowski.
Right.
That's right.
From there, Roadhouse, Tombstone, The Mask, if you remember that movie with Cher. He was Cher's boyfriend.
He's been in everything.
Right, he's been in everything. And he's in for another movie that we'll talk about a little bit later. But Sam Elliott's going to be here. Cool guy, really intimidating guy. If we're not the manliest of men on this program, and it was very apparent it's very apparent when that gentleman comes in and sits down, and you go, "What am I doing? I'm living my life entirely wrong.
I need a cowboy hat. I need like a 6-shooter.
Yeah. He's chewing on a piece of wood."
Let's go to let's go to Joey in Franklin Square. Wants to talk about Twin Peaks. Joey.
Hey, what's going on, Erik?
Hey, man.
What do you think, Peter Dinklage? Give it a little credibility. Bring him in as a dwarf.
Ooh.
That'd be good. Riding high off the fame of Game of Thrones and, of course, Elf. You know, when he ran across the table and just kicked the shit out of Will
Station
Ferrell.
Agent, other,
right.
like, you know, good movies.
I just feel he's going to end up as every dwarf in every We Need a Dwarf. You know, Willow's going to.
I was just going to say Willow.
What's the one from Willow?
He's still alive, though.
What's his name?
Wicket. No.
What is that, Paul?
Warwick Davis.
Yes, Warwick
Yeah.
Davis. Thank you.
Right. But I think the midget from, or little person from the original Twin Peaks is still alive, because he was in,
I think he passed away recently.
wasn't he in Carnival, right? Or
That was
Yeah,
like
but Carnival
15
like
years
10
ago.
years ago.
he passed away?
I think he did, man.
Aw. Now I'm sad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joey, you just ruined everything.
I'm sorry. I made myself sad.
Yes. But Peter Dinklage, I definitely think, if they did cast him in a new Twin Peaks, would
And
definitely...
Warwick Davis is still alive. He was in Doctor Who like a season ago.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's still alive. He
What
had that
was
show on
that
HBO.
reality,
Yeah,
sort
that
of reality
sort of show with Ricky Gervais
being
and stuff.
Warwick Davis. Or
Yeah,
something?
well,
Too short.
Yeah, Life's Too Short. That's it.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I rather see, you know, the dickishness of Peter Dinklage than the douchiness of Warwick Davis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle MacLachlan.
Do you want a badass
yeah.
midget or do you want Willow?
How about Willow?
I want a figure.
Oh, he wants a figure. All right,
Figure?
Joey, I will hook you up.
A mini-me?
Are you a fan with Lucy Lawless? I can't talk. Are you a fan of Lucy Lawless?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to hook you up with the signed NECA Simpsons figure
Ooh.
of Lucy Lawless.
Oh, you are a good man, Charlie Brown.
All right, Joey, I'm going to put you on hold. Lewis, if you can get his info on line 2. I can't see what this one is here. What does Cole want to talk about?
There was big Simpson news this week.
Didn't hear about it.
I haven't heard anything about The Simpsons this week.
I just wondering what your opinions are about Harry Shearer leaving The Simpsons. And do you still watch the show? I haven't watched it in years. I think the last thing I saw was a movie. I wasn't the biggest fan of that either.
Right.
So, just wondering what you thought.
All right.
This guy might be on my team of The Simpsons died 15 years ago.
Okay. Because you're going to be a snob about this.
I am, Erik. I'm very, very strong in my
I
beliefs
am
about this.
so far down the rabbit hole with The Simpsons that, yes, I still watch to this day. I've seen every single episode.
This doesn't shock anyone.
I still watch the marathons that they do nonstop on FX.
Right.
The theme days, all those things.
You love the FXX.
FXX. And I still watch it. I still take, interest in everything that they're doing and what's going on. As far as Harry Shearer goes, I don't know, because I'm a little torn on this, because he's always been at the center of every time there were cast issues, as far as payment and things like that. He's always been one of the, if not the main guy that was causing problems or fighting for what they deserve, kind of thing. We'll play both sides on this. Based on everything that has been said this week on it, the lawyers for The Simpsons said that they're going to continue on without him. The characters that are portrayed by him are not going to be killed off. They're going to find other voice talent to do these roles and keep those characters going.
It's probably gonna be Billy West.
And
It's a lot of characters.
It is.
Yeah, it is
He
a
has
lot of
9 to
characters.
12 main characters, but I think I read it's 22 altogether.
22.
Like little peripheral characters and stuff like that he takes care of. Why am I blanking on who he does? Mr. Burns,
Mr. Burns,
Smithers, Principal Skinner, Reverend Lovejoy, Ned Flanders, Otto, and more. And his statement was that he wanted the freedom to do more things than be stuck in just the agreement of doing the voice of The Simpsons. Now, that can't entirely be true, because anytime something like this comes around, it's always money.
Yeah.
It's always money. It's either Fox or Gracie Films is making so much money that they're not compensating as to what he believes fairly for the voice work that they do, be it the show, video games, those characters that in the play sets that have the voices and all those things. It could just be that he's tired of doing this, and that was his way of, look, either you give me a ton more money or I'm leaving this thing.
Let's play Team Harry Shearer here for a second. right? Because I know, like, the easy thing to say is, he's asking for more money. You know, screw that guy. But a couple of years ago, was it 5 or 6 years ago? Fox cut the salaries on everybody on the show.
A drastic cut.
Right. Down to whatever it was per episode, $8 million per episode, or whatever stupid number
That's
it was.
still ridiculous.
Yeah, of course it is. But that being said, in his defense, the guy is doing 22 characters. He's been doing it for 16 years. He's made Fox
longer than that.
or
26
or 26 years, whatever it is.
Including Tracy Ullman.
And he's what, 71 now? So he's been doing this since he's like 45.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think about.
and he's made Fox, you know, hand over fist money with the FXX deal and everything else. He continues to pull in a stupid amount of money for Fox. So if the guy wants a little bit more money, maybe he should get a little bit more. I mean, look, I'm not saying.
We don't know the finances
of course.
It could be Fox saying, look, we're really taking care of these people. And it could be him saying, no, they're everywhere, and we're not even seeing a percentage of what Fox is making off these things. We don't know.
Although, honestly, I think if it was money and he was playing a game, the type of game where he was like, I think I deserve more money, I don't see the reason to not say I think it's about money, especially because I think he said it in the past. Right. He's been public about it being money in the past. Maybe the dude legit just doesn't want to put in the time anymore.
Matt said something in the office before the show that I didn't think about, but you said the amount of characters that he does and the amount of time that these characters are in these episodes. Like you said, Mr. Burns and Smithers are in almost everything.
Right.
So if he's doing a majority of these characters, I didn't think about this. You said his time must be completely swallowed up by being at these studios, recording each individual track for each individual character, while, you know, Dan Castellaneta does a handful of characters. Yardley Smith just does Lisa. The others do, a couple people here and there. Their time is much shorter than probably what Harry's going through.
They roll in for an hour or two and they're done. He's there all day probably. Not to mention that The Simpsons, because it's on Fox and it's not on a cable network, it's full season runs. It's not like 10 episodes or whatever South Park
it's like
is, or 13
episodes.
It's 20-something episodes. 20-something characters. I would imagine that it is a very time-consuming, restricting job. And maybe he realizes, look, I'm getting on in my years. If there's other projects I want to do and really be able to give it my all, something has to give.
Yeah.
The Simpsons is it, unfortunately.
You're right. He's 71 years old.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I feel like Harry Shearer was old when
crazy.
Spinal Tap came out.
Yeah.
He seemed old then. So.
Well, that was, the best episode of The Simpsons is when he did the voice of his character from Spinal Tap.
From Spinal Tap,
Nigel Tufnell.
Yeah.
That was great.
What about the best episode of The Simpsons where they went to get their haircut at Harry Shearer's?
Yeah, Harry Shearer's.
Harry Shearer's.
All the puns.
Well, yeah, so that was going on, and then I started thinking maybe I should reach out to the people at The Simpsons who would talk about it.
Are you going to convince him to stay, Erik?
I would like to, but we'll see how that goes. I was going to reach out to Al Jean, but look, everybody's on top of these guys, and Al's been nice enough in the past to come on the show.
Of course.
I didn't want to, try to impose on that one. So I reached out to Harry, and figuring he would say no, I put it out there on Twitter and stuff, and didn't hear a response, but he posted a statement saying, this is what it is, this is my statement, I have nothing further to say on this matter here. I'll see if I can find it real quick. I thought I had it with me. And then I figured I'll go a different route, and I'm going to reach out to some voice talent, big name voice talent, and see, well, maybe they have an opinion on what's going on and then could shed some insight. And all of them politely declined. And I was thinking about it, but then I understood why. So I reached out to John DiMaggio, if you know who he is.
Voice of Bender.
Bender, the character from Adventure Time, Jake.
Yeah.
And is it Jake the dog?
I believe so.
Or is Jake the kid?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I've seen the show like a million times. I don't.
The yellow dog on Adventure Time. That's also John DiMaggio, and he does a whole bunch of other things too. Billy West, I reached out to, and Maurice LaMarche.
Okay.
And if you don't know who he is, the Brain from Pinky and the Brain,
right.
And voices on Futurama, Simpsons,
Animaniacs, all those things. These are the guys that are like the current day Mel Blancs, and they all politely declined. They didn't have anything to say about this. One, because I guess it's a weird little brotherhood that they have, that they don't want to. They want everybody to work, and they don't want to shit on somebody's gig or campaign for their gig, because it's like you're jumping in this person's grave when they're going through something there. But Fox said they're currently looking at top-notch talent and to fill these gaps. I'm sure one of these three, if not all of these three, especially John DiMaggio for being part of Gracie Films and Fox with Futurama, has been talked to and it's like, can you do Otto? Can you do Smithers? Can you do these voices? So who knows what's going to show up? Maybe it's a bluffing technique by Fox saying we've had enough of this crap dealing with Harry, that we're just going to throw this out there, and maybe this is Harry's way of saying, I've been here too long. If you throw me a ridiculous amount of money, I just don't want to do this anymore. But I think at some point you're going to see that he's going to come back.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, what I'm curious to know is if this is the beginning of the end. Like if they've all been kind of holding on because everybody else was holding on. You know what I mean? And now Harry Shearer is the first to go out the door. 2 more seasons, because that's what's already been slated and most people have signed for. But at the end of those 2 seasons, who else is going to walk away? And then is it a domino effect? And maybe maybe the end of The Simpsons really is 2 seasons away.
I don't know if you could get everybody to walk away, because they probably have some kind of agreement where they're getting residuals from syndication and things like that.
Yeah, but the syndication deal is probably not.
It's still owned by Gracie Films.
No, but what I mean is their syndication deal is not. I'm sure it's not linked on the future. It's linked on the past. They're getting paid rights based on the work that they've already done. I'm like I said, I'm just wondering if the cast was this weird brotherhood, and now that one of them has walked away, it opens the door. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to take the first piece of cake at a party.
Yeah, you don't want to be the first person to leave. Like,
right. You don't take the first slice of pizza. Harry took the first slice. Now everybody's free hungry, to go. Man. Yeah, man.
Here's the official post that Harry put up. It's a 2-part. First part was from James L. Brooks' lawyer. The show will go on. Harry will not be a part of it. We wish him the best. And then his response to it, this because I wanted what we've always had, the freedom to do other work. Of course, I wish him the very best. So who knows what it is? He's saying it's over time and creativity. It's got to be money. It's always coming down to money.
Everything comes down to money at the end of the day.
I think it's probably a little of column A, a little of column B. Honestly, I think fatigue plays a role, and I'm sure that money could cure it. But again, there was a cut a couple years ago, and if he feels like he should be at the pre-cut level or more, and they're not going to give it to him, then he's like, look, I'm tired.
Because they got how many more seasons? 2 or 3?
2.
They're finishing 26. The season finale is this Sunday, which, by the way, watch it because Rick and Morty are making an appearance. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, they're making an appearance during the couch gag at the beginning of the show. If you're not a Rick and Morty fan or don't know who they are,
you might become a Rick and Morty fan.
Still watch this. We'll get into Rick and Morty a little later in the program, but the season finale for season 26 is happening this Sunday. They're signed for 2 more seasons.
Right.
And then I think Fox is trying to stretch it to 30. You'll see probably sometime in the next year, but maybe by next summer they'll say seasons 29 is signed, or seasons 30 is signed, just to get them to 30 and then
out,
have it go out off into the sunset there. But I do think, what's up, Paul? Nothing. All right.
Has any other show gone 30 years?
Gunsmoke or something like that, like one of those shows.
Oh, I thought Simpsons was currently the longest running sitcom. Is it not?
I just meant any show, like other than like the news.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, probably some soap operas. Hasn't General Hospital or one of those ones?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, maybe The Simpsons is, because Gunsmoke was 20 years.
Yeah,
sorry, not 30 years.
I was going to say, I remember specifically with Gunsmoke that Simpsons had already surpassed it. So
if anything is longer, it's probably some kind of soap opera.
Yeah, probably.
But outside of that, I don't think.
Or like Doctor Who, if you count from the very beginning.
Well, they don't. Even Doctor Who doesn't count it from the very beginning. Let's go to Sean in Canada. Sean, where in Canada are you?
Hey, I'm up in Whistler near Vancouver in British Columbia.
How are you doing, sir?
Hey, pretty well. First time, long time.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, as an avid Simpsons fan like yourself, I'm going to be listening real close to whoever they get to do these voices, and I think it's really going to mess with it, if the Smithers isn't on, if the Mr. Burns isn't on, like, if it's even off just a little bit, I think it's really going to take me out of it, which is kind of weird to say that you could be taken out of a cartoon. But that's my thought. Like if they don't whoever replaces these guys don't hit it 100%, it's going to be weird for me.
Well, I think that's like one of the issues I have trying to like rewatch some of the newer episodes is that the voices just on the original characters from the original voice actors have changed slightly since the like 2 through 10, 2 through 12 seasons. So even I find like watching him, I don't connect with the characters that much anymore. Like Bart, his voice changed, Homer's voice has changed. It's been subtle, but I don't know, it's weird to me.
No, I think it's, if you watch those early seasons and that was it, then yeah, you've like what you're saying, you think those are the voices. But I think as time has gone on, they hit where that voice is supposed to be, and it hasn't changed since. So I think they're exactly where they need to be. If you hear those first, I'll say 4 seasons, yeah, they sound a little bit off. As we know, Dan Castellaneta modeled Homer after Walter Matthau.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the first season, like Homer was different, but I just mean like through those seasons, it was like pretty steady from like 3 through like 10 or 11, and then it just kind of, I don't know. I think it changed a little, but the animation style also changed a little. They added more shadow, they added more like color to it. So I don't know. It's very picky.
Sean, I'm gonna find something to give you. I'm gonna put you on hold, and we'll send it out to you. All right?
Hey, Eric, don't even worry about that, brother. You just keep it. I'm just happy to talk to you. Have a good show, man.
Done and done. Thank you very much, Sean.
Wow.
Nice.
Let's move on to, I believe, Harry Shearer is on the phone.
Ooh.
Let's say hi to Roland. Hi, Roland.
Hello, this is Harry Shearer. Eric, I'm going to do this exclusive. They said no cronuts. And I said no pedestrian food, and I left that fucking show.
Okay, Roland. Roland's on vacation, and unfortunately, Roland is sick.
Is he meerkatting or whatever it is?
Are you meerkatting?
Or periscoping?
Are you periscoping? Are you getting hearts, Roland?
No, I got 2 shots on my ass today.
That's gross.
Well,
Roland had to go to the doctor, and apparently he has strep throat.
so they gave him a shot in his ass?
Yeah,
He's always talking
What
about
kind of
don't get
doctor
that
is that?
Well, then he put his finger in my ass and went,
I don't think that was a doctor.
Neither do I.
All right, Roland, enjoy your vacation. I'll see you next week.
Mazel tov.
All right, take care. Mikey Piff. Hi.
Oh, hey, guys.
How are
Hey,
you?
what's up, man?
I didn't want to interrupt. I was just listening to the conversation.
He snuck in behind me, and I don't like that.
I'm like a ninja.
Where are you with the Simpsons stuff?
It's fascinating because I know Erik is the Simpsons guy, so I saw that and I was like, oh, it must be over at that point. But
Yeah.
I see the reaching 30 thing, but I didn't think about it like it was presented, knowing that some people only do like 1 or 2 voices, and this guy he does like 30. And I'm like, okay, he deserves a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know. It is what it is. We'll see what happens going forward. We'll see if he comes back. If he doesn't, we'll see what
it's
happens.
taxing on your voice.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he just says beep once and then they double it up to save.
Let's go to another Sean in New Hampshire. Sean, how are you?
Eric, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, I was just Googling, and Harry Shearer's worth like $65 million anyway.
So he definitely needs more.
So, well, I mean, how much money can you need? You know.
I don't know. He has probably has like a golden swimming pool or something, whatever those cliches are that he has to pay for.
I picture Harry Shearer in one of those oldie time bathing suits, swimming through his 65 million like Scrooge McDuck.
It's like spitting out coins.
Maybe he's got a pool like Cocoon.
Nice, there you
right
go.
there in the back. I don't know why I said Cocoon, but it was Cocoon.
He is the Mr. Burns of real life.
And when he wears that suit, he develops a mighty hump.
Yes.
All right, man.
Thank you, Sean. I
Take care,
appreciate
Sean.
it. Take care. All right, so that's enough on Harry Shearer there. We'll figure. I think he'll come back at some point, but
We'll see what happens.
as it is for now, he's gone. They'll replace. They're not killing off the characters. They'll replace him with some credible voice talent that can do all the rest of the characters there.
Well, I have one question. Do you think they could reuse some old stuff? And
Like South Park did with Chef.
I mean, not that
yeah.
hacky, but do you think they could take like? I mean, it's not like they can't.
Gonna make
Pick up-
love to the children. What? What are you talking about, Chef?
It's not like they can't reuse the line "excellent" like
Yeah.
50
Yeah.
billion times over.
I wonder with technology now if they could actually take almost anybody's voice and put it through some sort of processor to just get the voice they need out of it.
I mean, if they
after
can, I want the app.
Yeah, I mean, after that long, you think how? All right, guys,
He's probably said every word.
We need another. We need another take of Hi to Leo Neighborino. We didn't get it right that the other 50 billion times.
Yeah.
Always.
I think I had a good one in season 14.
Alex in Arkansas. Alex, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I had a question for Eric. I know you're a huge Simpsons fan. I was just curious if you've ever thought about picking up one or both of the Simpsons pinball machines.
Sir, not only that, I also thought about buying the upright,
Nice.
The four-person
four-player Simpsons game. I just have not done so yet.
Because if you look on eBay and, you do the local search, I'm sure you'd find one, pretty close to you.
Yeah, but the problem is, especially with pinball machines, if they're in the right condition, they're worth more than the upright video games.
Oh, yeah.
So pinball machines can get very expensive, like thousands of dollars. Plus, then you have to pay to have it shipped. And once you get it here, if you're not completely competent enough to put it together, you got to have somebody put it together and do the balancing for it, or else the game's not going to work.
Yeah.
So this could cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, I collect arcade games. Pinball machine's just a rich man's game because I can't even afford most of them. So.
I would love that.
You can get the older Simpsons machine for like $1,500 now. The newer one's still for like $4,500. So
yeah,
there you go, $1,500.
That actually sounds cheap to me. I've seen ones that are like $5,000 to $8,000.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down here in Arkansas, so prices may vary.
Well, I would definitely
Good point.
I would definitely love to get the pinball machine at some point. I think even more than the stand-up game.
Yeah, I love pinball, so I would see myself playing pinball more than I think I would play the stand-up arcade game.
I think you should get both, so that way I can come over and play all of them.
Word.
Alex, I'm going to put you on hold. I'll find something to send you, all right?
Hey, can you give me the Weird Al thing?
I think I can do that. I'll put you on hold. All right.
Cool.
Get Alex on line 3 there. We're going to have to take a break in just a moment.
All right.
I'm trying to see what some of the other ones here. Let's go to John in Brooklyn. John.
Hey, Alex, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
Real quick, not to tie you guys up, realistically, the only thing that's been on just as long as The Simpsons, if they hit 30, is going to be Monday Night Raw. That started as, like, primetime wrestling on the USA Network in, like, the mid-'80s.
No, it didn't. Raw started in, I think, 90.
93. Well,
93.
Raw started in 93, but it morphed from primetime wrestling, which was on in like the late 80s.
No, the primetime wrestling, the Superstars that used to be on Saturday, and then there was the version that they had on USA Network. I forgot what that was called. All American Wrestling or something like that. All of those were syndicated programming. They weren't Monday Night Raw. So they were all different and distinct shows.
Yeah.
Raw was its own thing, and Raw started in the early 90s, but it's not as old as The Simpsons.
93, so The Simpsons has got everything beat, man.
Yeah, it's not. It has more episodes than The Simpsons does, but it just hasn't been on as long.
Right.
Never go against E-Rock when Simpsons or wrestling is on the line.
It's the perfect storm. It's both. It is just a torrent of just E-Rock.
I've even discussed my 2 partners here.
I'm sorry I even tried.
It's okay. Thank you, John. I appreciate your phone call here. People are calling up about a lot of the pinball things here. Brett in Oklahoma. Brett.
What's up, man? How are you?
Are you a pinball enthusiast?
I am a pinball enthusiast, and I'm...
Are you a pinball wizard, is the question.
Lightning bolt.
The 2013 Oklahoma State. Oh, man.
All right.
So anyway, I was just calling up to say, yeah, they are very expensive on eBay, but if you guys needed help, I actually own the later model Simpsons pinball machine and the upright.
Right.
And I wouldn't tell you mine, but if you wanted to get a hold of something like that, I'd be happy to help you.
Okay. I'm not quite ready to do that yet, but I'll take your information. I'll put you on hold and have Louis
my info.
take your info.
Whenever you're ready.
I've been so busy between Opie show and this show and other things. I haven't even finished the Simpsons Lego house. I've had it for a year.
And now the Quickie Mart is out. You're behind.
Where are they going to live?
On the box as well.
So I got to put all that together before I can clear out room and get the pinball machine in.
Terrible.
But I will take your information, sir, and I do appreciate your kindness.
I think that's any nerd's dream, right?
Yeah.
Great show, by the way. Bye.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. What, to have the pinball machine?
To have, or just, sorry, by the way, I talked over him. Sorry about that. Yeah, a pinball machine. I've always wanted, I think the holy grail of pinball machines is the Twilight Zone pinball machine.
That one's great.
That is a good one.
It is incredibly hard. I spent so many quarters trying to beat that game.
Yeah. That one is a good one. You know what? And one that you wouldn't think would be good, but actually is so much, the Addams Family.
The Addams Family one is amazing.
Yeah. Addams Family pinball machine is, anytime I see that in an arcade somewhere, when you can find an arcade, I go right to that thing.
Yestercades.
They used to have it at the bowling alley that me and Erik went to.
Well, why don't you guys, there are a lot of barcades popping up around. There's one in New York where they have like the old Ninja Turtles, the Simpsons, like, all that stuff, including pinball that we could all go to.
Yeah, in Jersey, there's 2 or 3 places. They're called Yestercades, and like you pay one fee when you go in the door. It's like $15 or whatever, and it's free play. once you get in for as long as you're there.
Was that what Barcade was when we went in Brooklyn?
No, Barcade's more like you pay like per machine.
It was per machine?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been to that one in a long time, but I remember us going there. And
there's a lot of those like video game like bar places. There's 2 Bits on the Lower East Side on like Essex Street, and then there's Barcade. There's the one in Brooklyn. There's one on like 26th Street I passed the other day.
And if you ever want to go to a place, an arcade that time forgot, go up to Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And go to Fun Spot. Fun Spot. Did you ever see King of Kong?
Yes.
I've not.
You never saw King of Kong?
I've heard of it, but I know the premise. I just haven't seen it.
King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. I think it's still on Netflix. Watch it. It's a documentary about who had the highest score ever on the game of Donkey Kong. And the championship was at Fun Spot up in New Hampshire. It's still there to this day. Multiple levels of old games, pinball machines, miniature golf, all this stuff. It's pretty much a museum for upright video games.
That sounds kind of awesome.
So if you ever make it up to the middle of New Hampshire for some god-awful reason, that's the place you need to go. But anytime you see an arcade, do you kind of just pop in and look past all the newer games and try to find the old pinball machines?
Every single time.
I do. I do that and skee ball.
Yeah, I look for pinball machines, and even just old stand-ups are okay. Anytime they have like the old Tron games, especially the one where you sit down, I'm all about like discs of Tron and stuff like that. Speaking of Tron, I'd love to go to Flynn's Arcade. That'd be a lot of fun. They actually opened
when you go to
up.
Flynn's Arcade, you never come back.
I want to live on the grid. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I miss the old Afterburner game where you sat in like the cockpit and it would move.
It would move, yeah.
That was awesome. They made video games.
Oh, the good old
so much better
days.
back in the day.
You know, when I was a kid.
When I was a kid.
Put a quarter up
we
there.
had to make a frog cross the street.
Now it's all that Dave and Buster's thing.
Yeah. Them pesky horse racing.
Look, I love air hockey as much as the next person, but I'm not paying $4 just to play an air hockey game because the table is day glow and it shows up in black lights.
Ooh,
yeah.
But after you had a couple of drinks, it's always fun.
No, if I ever go to Dave and Buster's, I play one machine. I think Giddles has been witness. You might have been witness to this too.
I've been with Erik to Dave and Buster's, and it is just lots of hold this garbage bag so I can put tickets in. It's like a
I went to Dave and Buster's with Erik once. He walked out of there with like a margarita machine, a PlayStation, a television. He walked out of there with more shit than I don't even think these ticket people even thought the boxes were full.
There's
and
one
Erik was walking away
that
with
I play, one type of machine that I play. And it's a certain brand, and I'm not even going to tell anybody because people are going to fuck with it. But I go in there, and I just swipe the card, and I do what I got to do, constantly clearing them out of tickets. I have somewhere in my wallet, I have my gold card for Dave and Buster's that has like 130,000 plus points on the thing.
You should get Dave and Buster on the show.
Well, what I do now is I go into the gift shop because everything's ridiculously priced. I go in there and I look for what can't I afford in this store right now. And when I see what that price is, and I go, well, I have more gaming to do. And then I'll go back at another day and play until now I have 175,000 points. And then maybe you can buy the Xbox or something like that. But I just want to walk in there knowing that I could get anything in this store, and I'm not going to.
You're like a card counter at a blackjack table at Dave and Buster's.
That's exactly what he is. No, when I was there was this game where you had to like drop the ball from the ceiling and go in a hole, and Erik was just sitting there like he just figured out the time again. It was like bam, 10,000 tickets, bam, 10,000 like in a row. And there was some little kid who wanted to get in the machine. Erik just like pushed his face out of the way and just was like, nope, bam.
I still got credits on this thing.
Yeah. It's like I still got credits.
It's this thing. It's like a painter's wheel almost. It has holes in it, right?
Yeah.
It spins around, and this little remember playing.
It's like a chute.
Remember playing hockey in gym? It was that orange ball, right? It's like that thing, and you have to kind of time it where you drop the ball and it bounces around. It goes in one of the holes, and you get the point value for each assigned hole. And I started to figure out what the pattern was, and then I would just sit there, and then you hit it. Don't even hit the hole. It's just jackpot.
Like jackpot. Like every time. Right through.
And then all of a sudden it says, call attended, out of tickets.
Oh, man. I would pay to be the security guy. Be like, guys, that Nagel.
That's Erik. Fuck.
Call security, please.
Also, I gave a wedding present to a friend of ours, who I'm not going to say.
300,000 tickets?
No, we just happened to be there, and he wanted something as a wedding gift, so I got it from the gift shop at Dave & Buster's.
You re-gifted from Dave & Buster's?
No, I didn't re-gift. That's what he wanted, and they just happened to have it in the store.
And he just handed it right over.
A pencil eraser? Like,
No,
what
It was an extra large pencil.
It was a Hampton. It was a Hampton Bays.
Hampton Jiffy?
Hampton Bays. It was one of those drink blenders.
Yeah, it was the
the
margarita
machine.
blender.
Like that.
Was it Matt?
No, it wasn't
Okay,
me.
because he mentioned that margarita machine. I thought we came full circle for a second
I
here.
was there.
Okay.
I was there
He
for this
witnessed
event.
it, but I said, "Well, what do you want?" And he told me what he wanted. And I said, "Done," and that's what he got. And that's what we walked out with. And then you just see 5 white guys and a drink machine walking out of Dave & Buster's.
The worst part is I was there with Erik. I felt like the adult. I was like, Erik, we have to go now. Like, they're closing the door. Eric's like, I gotta win more tickets.
I think you have a gambling problem.
Like, I think you have a gambling problem. I call him Gambler.
Unbelievable.
Let me see what. Let's talk to Cody in Indiana. Cody.
Hey, thanks for having a show that's like totally up my alley. I really appreciate doing this on X.
What have you stolen from Dave & Buster's, sir?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bar that I go to. They decided, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. We're going to knock out all of the eating area in the back, half of the office area, and we're going to put in old school arcade boxes. They've got like the NFL Blitz, the Simpsons 4 stand-ups. They've got
Smash TV. I love Smash TV.
TV was great.
They got all kinds of pinball machines and stuff, and they don't make a ton of money off of it, but they don't care. It's just like where the employees go to hang out after they are done, and they just drink, and it's a bomb time, man.
Nice.
That sounds like fun.
So,
I want to go to there.
Thanks again for the show, Erik. Love it.
No problem, Cody. Thank you for listening. One other game that I'm trying to remember the name. It's not Outrun, but I've never been a big fan of the driving games. But there was
Cruisin'
one game.
USA?
No.
Yeah.
There's because you always see that row. It was Cruisin' USA, Crazy Taxi, whatever motorcycle
Grand
game they
Then
had.
there was like
there,
that one that was
whatever.
like 8 seats. It was like the Grand Prix Monaco.
Well, that's
race
the
or
one they
something.
do now because now they do that for Mario Kart. They have
Right.
a life-size
Yeah.
Mario Kart at like Dave & Buster's and stuff. But there's this one car game where. No, that's not, but that's a good one too. Lewis was saying what was it, 2049, right? Rush 2049, but that's not the one. It's this one where you're driving a car and, things are attacking you, you can shoot it and stuff, but it's not Spy Hunter. But you'd see these little pellets come up and green and red, you grab them, and then something would fly over and drop like an attachment onto your car. Now you had like a thing that could shoot missiles, you could...
I don't remember
Nobody's
that.
remembering this one?
I kind of want to play
It
it, though.
sounds a little like Spy Hunter.
Was it
but
an episode of Cops?
All right, you know what? I'll look for it during the break.
All right.
We'll talk about
I know
that
like
when
the
we come
type
back
of
from the
game
break.
you're talking about because it was like all those stand-up
they
like
had-
ones,
they had a
and they had
console
ones with like
version of it.
planes and stuff. And
They had a
shooting,
console
get
version of
powered
it,
up.
but it was more fun to play in the arcade. And I keep going to Outrun, but I know it's not Outrun.
No, it wasn't Outrun.
Outrun was something
no, Outrun
totally
didn't have
different.
missiles and shit.
No,
so-
this was something that would fly over and drop down onto your car, and
And
then
it was
was
just like
now
It
you have
sounds
some
like
kind
what
of
if,
cannon.
what if Outrun met Arkanoid is what it kind of sounds like.
I don't know.
Oh,
Somebody
like,
has
like
the answer.
Road Rash.
Yeah.
We do have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Carla Gugino about Wayward Pines on Fox. It's definitely a show you need to check out. Also, we'll touch a little bit on San Andreas, the new movie with The Rock, which is going to be their big summer blockbuster. After that, Sam Elliott. And what other things do we want to talk about?
I
We have
don't
on
know.
today's show here.
There was a lot on the list. We wanted to talk about some trailers. We want to talk about what shows got picked up and canceled and renewed.
Trailers. If you want to do a little homework before we come back after the interview there, Gem, if you remember the old 80s cartoon.
Gem and the Holograms?
Gem and the Holograms has a new movie trailer out. Supergirl, League of...
Legends of Tomorrow,
Legends
which
of
is the
Tomorrow,
new
sorry.
CW show.
Right.
There was the Scream show.
Absolute
Minority
Scream
Report.
Queens.
Scream Queens too. No, but Scream, the horror movie Scream.
Oh, they have
MTV
an
is
actual
making a
show.
show, yeah. Minority Report.
Absolutely anything we haven't talked about either.
Absolutely
Simon Pegg
Anything.
and Monty Python
Yeah.
together.
Ooh.
Also, if you're going to the movies tonight, if you're listening to us East Coast, West Coast.
Mad Max?
Mad Max, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And the 2 reports that I've gotten so far today who have seen it, they said, this is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen the first 2, it's okay. It stands alone. If you want to go back and watch the first 2, it adds to that as well. So either way, you're winning on this.
I am so excited for this movie. I wanted to skip work today and just go.
I should have.
Yeah, I should have too.
My homework for this weekend is I'm gonna watch the first 2 and then go next week to see Mad Max and then talk about it next Friday on the show.
Sweet.
We're also gonna go see Tomorrowland.
Yay! I'm
On
excited for
Monday,
that.
Nice.
which is gonna be awesome. And I forgot, we have a special announcement.
Special announcement.
Special announcement for this show. Something is happening. Something big is happening.
Oh, shit.
So we'll talk about that after we talk to caller.
Bigger than curly fries?
Close.
Okay.
It's in tater tot country.
All right.
Around there. All right. Before we go to break, Ryan in D.C. Ryan, do you know the game?
Yeah, it's called Road Blaster.
That's it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Road Blaster was awesome.
And you had the gun on the top, and the planes would come and drop guns on top of the car.
Right, and you'd get the ammunition or the power with those green and red things floating in the road, right?
Right, yeah. They used to have them like in every Pizza Hut in the mid-'80s.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you on hold. I'll hook you up with some, I think, I don't know, Hey Dude or something in the back there. Pee Wee Herman.
You were just talking about that, Max. I saw it on Wednesday. It's fucking unreal. It's like a 100, like it's not 100 minutes, like a two-hour version of the trailers.
Fuck yeah.
It is. It's just intense.
Perfect. All right, Ryan, thank you so much. Road Blaster is the game. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll hook you up with something there. Paul, we're going to take a break? Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll speak to Carla Gugino.
It's Erik Nagel. Erik and Matt will be right back. Sirius 206, XM 103. It's Erik Nagel.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show right now an actress. I mean, if you haven't seen this lady in anything, you're not watching TV and you're not watching movies in the 20th or the 21st century. Please say hello to Carla Gugino. She is here for the new show Wayward Pines, which is on Fox.
Yeah. It's really, this show is bananas. It's so scary. And I got to say, it's the thing that really drew me to it, which it seems to be that people are seeing it or saying similar things, are like, it's a paranoid mystery, and there's this puzzle, and you can't quite figure out where to put those pieces at the beginning.
This show, Wayward Pines, I've seen teases for it for a long time, and then I got the chance to see, I think, the first 3 episodes of it. Almost completing the first episode, I started to realize, I'm like, I don't think she's in this episode, other than a still photo at the beginning. I'm like, okay, this is kind of mysterious. I want to see where this goes. And then you show up. I'm not going to give away what's going on. But this show seems to be doing an homage to so many other shows, even though it is unique. But it has that Twin Peaks kind of feel to it. The darkness, the grittiness, weird characters in the town, in an isolated town, where I think it's even billed is that there's one road in and no roads out. So you're stuck there, whether you want to be or not. The intro for the show is a nice little animation that feels almost like what Weeds did, but also has that Game of Thrones kind of sleek creepiness to it. And then when we discover your character and what he's seeing feels a bit Stepford Wives.
Right, right.
So
okay.
all these different elements are being working to the show, and it's being done very well. What did you think when you got asked to do this?
You know, I was doing a play here at Lincoln Center at that time, so I was in a totally different world, and I got the first 2 scripts, and I read them. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I spoke to Chad Hodge, who had adapted it from Blake Crouch's novels, and then I spoke to Night Shyamalan, and basically their idea in terms of like what seemed very important to me is because it is so heightened,
right? And
it does have this level of like mild hysteria in a really good way. Like there's something bubbling under the surface and you don't know what it is,
right?
And
you're
nothing
suspicious of everyone that shows up,
and nothing is making sense. I mean, I can say that basically Matt Dillon and my character were Secret Service agents. We were partners. We had an affair. He's married. Shannon Sossaman plays his wife in the show, and he's married, and I have left town to kind of stop this affair. And I've gone and started up in a new town, and me and my new partner go into this small town of Wayward Pines where all this money is being funneled in suspiciously, and we disappear completely. And Matt Dillon's character is given the task of coming to find us.
Right.
Now, when he finds me, I insist that I've been living there for 12 years and married, and he insists that he had seen me, that we were in a motel room together 5 weeks ago. I was 27 then, and
much
I do
to the dismay of your new husband.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a husband. I mean, it's like, so basically, you really are trying to figure out what is going on. And so when I started reading it, I was just in. I was like, I love a good mystery. And these people, the idea at that point, it was Matt Dillon, Melissa Leo, and Night Shyamalan, and I was like, what an amazing group of creative people who've never done anything together. And Night's first voyage into TV, and I was just And the fact that with this character, which you'll see as it unfolds, I get to play sort of 3 different characters in a way, 3 different aspects of her. And so that was really exciting.
Isn't it great that you can take a director like M. Night Shyamalan at the level that he has been at and all the projects that he's produced. And we're in a great age for television now where it's not looked down that a director wants to do television. Ron Howard's been doing it for a while. Brian Grazer. Now you got M. Night joining in on this thing here. David Lynch, again, with Twin Peaks, before it was even cool to be a director for film doing television. Now everybody still was doing movies, but now everyone's like, television is the new thing too. So whatever stories we can't get either funding or we can't fully tell
in that period of time.
In that period of time for a movie, we can do something special like you're doing here with Wayward Pines as a 10-episode series.
And you don't have to be beholden to a 3-act structure, and you get more time to explore character. I mean, I think that's the thing, is I think what's happened with TV and predominantly, cable TV, obviously this is on Fox. It was produced by FX, so it's sort of a really cool amalgamation of both of them, but of cable and network. But it's so, what we used to be able to do in independent film, like when you have an auteur, when you have someone who has a really strong voice and vision for something, you used to be able to do that in an independent movie and really get it through. Now studios are making such big movies that it's hard. There's so many cooks in the kitchen. It's hard to have that kind of through line of one creative vision. And so, and of course, everything involves collaboration, but what's really cool is that in television now we are able to do these really character driven stories that are less about the old school kind of TV where it was about selling soap, and then you have the show in between,
Also with this too, with the 10-episode structure, seeing how this will all play out and the reaction everyone gets from it when the series is concluded, doing it in this way is sort of the Netflix model where it's perfect now to go up on Netflix after the run for the summer if they decide to do a second season, or maybe do something like a True Detective, Wayward Pines, but you're taking it from a different story, different angle, different cast, whatever, that it can keep going in a way that people are now accustomed to, binge watching.
Yeah. What I like about this, I like that
it's not difficult to watch, is what I'm saying.
No, it's totally. And what I was going to say is I kind of like the old school nature of the way that they are initially doing it with Wayward Pines, which is you do kind of harken back to the water cooler moments because it is a mystery. And at the end of each episode, there's something about having to wait that is going to drive people crazy in a really good way, like keep you really engaged. And then if you want to revisit it because it is complex and there's a lot going on, I think then when you watch all 10 together, you're going to see it string together in a really cool way.
Also, I've noticed too, at least you can see through the first episode and into some of the second episode, some people are innocent. Some people, you're like, there's something wrong with that guy. There's something creepy there. But they also, just to throw you off, there's a level of where some guys are just dicks. Yeah. Like the kid who's running the, I guess it's the hotel that Matt Damon's saying after he leaves the hospital. Where he's like, you need to evacuate now, and he's just holding the door.
Totally.
And it's like, okay, he's not creepy, but he's just an asshole. And I'm like, all right, now I'm liking this on a different level.
Yeah, no, there's every type of person there. And also, like, I think that talking about things that it pays homage to, I really love The Shining. That was one of my favorite movies ever, right? So, and one of the things about that is this idea of what do people become when they're in an isolated circumstance? They can't get out, they're terrified, and they're fighting for their lives. People go crazy.
Right.
And they manifest it in different ways. And also in this show, all these characters have different amounts of information about what's really going on. What's really cool with the show structurally is that it's not one of those things where at episode 10, finally we go, this is what's going on, bye-bye. It actually, like in the middle of the series, you're going to understand the context for what's happening.
Right.
And then you're going to be with us in trying to figure out what the heck to do to get out of it,
Well, you should definitely check this out. Wayward Pines, it's on Fox. Thursdays at 9 p.m. So you should definitely check that out.
In 125 different countries, by the way, on the same day. The first time Fox has ever done that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just the overdubbing of all the voices.
I can't wait to hear myself in Italian.
I was just going to say, did you get to check out any of the voices? Here's you in Chinese.
Exactly.
Wow, they're not even matching my lips.
I know.
This is a busy summer for you because you have this, and then, of course, you have San Andreas coming out in a little bit with The Rock.
I'm super excited about.
Not your first venture with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
No.
You've been in a few other movies, Race to Witch Mountain and Faster. Thank you. So what was it like working with him again?
Amazing. I love that man. He's fantastic. And in this movie, he's so wonderful in this movie, and you will see him do things that you don't expect him to do. Like he gets to go to a place with his character that he doesn't get to go to often emotionally. And then he's, of course, super badass.
Right. Were you familiar with what he was doing in WWE before he became an actor?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I was. It's funny. When I was going to do Race to Witch Mountain, I was talking to my dear friend Joe Gordon-Levitt, and I said, there's this guy. I know he's done this and he's done that, but and talking about Dwayne, and Joe looked at me. He's like, I'm telling you, that guy is going to be a massive movie star. Like he totally, And Joe is obviously a super talented person himself, and has good taste. And so anyway, but yeah, so I did know. I'm not a huge wrestling fan, but I definitely knew of him from that.
Is he really that personable on set? Like he's no diva qualities to him?
He does not have a diva bone in his body. He is like one of the most humble, awesome human beings. And this movie we're both really, really proud of. What was cool is because we do know each other and trust each other, and we had to create like a lot of history to this relationship of this couple that loves each other but is not been able to work it out because they've had this crisis in their family, and they kind of come together in this new disaster that happens, and so it was really fun. We had a really, really great time, and the movie kicks butt. I mean, it is amazing.
Did he ever give you the people's eyebrow? Did you melt?
I've gotten the people's eyebrow a few times, and I'm immune to it at this point.
Dwayne.
Exactly. It does nothing to me.
One other question based on the trailer, because that's all that's out right now.
Yeah.
There's a scene where I guess you're at I want to say like a yacht club or a country club or something like that. And you're on the phone, and then
sort of like a Soho House kind of place.
Something like that. Kind of ritzy.
Yes.
And then the earthquake starting to happen. Do they shoot those scenes where they actually, I know a lot of it is CGI and stuff, but when you're on a set like that, are you pretending that it's going on, or do they actually shake the set and make things fall so you can go along with it?
That's a really good question. In that particular scene, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because that sequence, when you see the whole movie, it's the longest one shot of the movie, where we have a shot that's almost 3 minutes, and it was so exciting and terrifying to shoot, because basically I do a lot of my own stunts in this movie, but our Steadicam operator and I were like joined at the hip for this section where we had you see that, and ultimately the answer to your question is there were fire bombs going off, glass was being broken, things were being thrown over the counters, chandeliers were shaking. We also had to act it.
Right.
I'm falling and getting up and running like crazy, and there's stunt people diving, and it was insanity.
So on all levels, it wasn't just like the old days when you'd have an earthquake scene or something where they'd be standing there and then they would put everything in.
So you're adding some elements in, and they added some elements in VFX for sure, but a lot of it was there, and that was Brad Payton, our director. Like, it really was important to him that we do as much in camera as possible.
Well, that's great to know, because I know that cruise ship tipping over scene, I'm like, nah, that's not on set.
But you really feel it, exactly. And in this movie, though, I have to say, they did an extraordinary job with the visual effects, because usually I'm a person, and I'm probably not even supposed to be saying this, but you can then believe me when I tell you this. I am a person who's usually taken out by 3D and taken out by VFX. And I will tell you, the sort of technology has gotten to the place where when it's done well, it's seamless. It's crazy. But a lot of this was in camera. So a lot of this we did, I have the funky shoulder to prove it. Like, we did we did as much as we could for real as possible.
How bad was the injury?
It was okay. It's okay. It's totally like, it was absolutely my fault.
Did the Rock kiss and make it better?
And, well, I can't really talk about that.
We're running out of time with you. You're here for Wayward Pines, not for San Andreas. We'll probably get you for that.
Yes, exactly.
Time.
No, I know, and I have a show on HBO called The Brink that's coming out in June. It's crazy. They're all
so busy
coming at the same time.
I just want to ask you two more things before you go. One, you have an extensive body of work, but whenever your name comes up, a lot of people just go with the go-to of Entourage.
Right.
I mean, I know you're appreciative of that role, but does that kind of irk you a little bit? Like, I've done so many things. Why do they keep thinking I'm only from Entourage?
It's funny that you say that, because it doesn't irk me at all, but it is funny to me, because that was something that Doug Ellen, the creator, who's amazing, become a dear friend, sent that to me. I was doing Night at the Museum up in Vancouver, and they sent me the script, and were like, do you want to do this role? And I was like, this sounds like so much fucking fun. Yes. Sorry.
No, you can. We're that channel.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Sorry. I have such... And so I was, and it was so much fun, and I love that character so much, but it is such a small thing in the body of my work, and so it's just more fascinating.
Even if you Google you,
I know.
It says Entourage. I know, but I knew you from other things.
Totally.
Here's where I'm going to fanboy on you, because I knew you from Son-in-Law.
Wow,
right?
Nice.
That's going way back.
Yes.
But yeah, from Son-in-Law, but you've been in so many things. Watchmen, Sin City, Spy Kids as well, which was a huge franchise.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, that's the thing is I've done so many things, and I think that I've been really, one of the things that I've always been interested in is disappearing into roles. And I think that is ultimately what's mattered to me is the longevity of my career, but it's also been a kind of thing where I can slip in and out and people don't really know, oh, that's you too. And that's you, so I haven't been really interested in branding myself in any way, which seems to be a popular thing to do. And I have no judgment about it, but it's just not what attracts me, so.
I'm just saying, for at least from my standpoint, I knew you from other things.
Yeah,
besides,
and I'm appreciative. Thank you, man.
Two things that I didn't remember that I saw you in, and I went back and looked after I did some research on it. One, you're the young Roxy in Roxy Carmichael.
Yes.
And you're in Troop Beverly Hills, which was another favorite of mine. And I had to look back, I'm like, she's Chica.
That was Chica Barnfeld. That was the only time I ever lied about my age. I was 16, and I said I was 14 to get the job. And the director later told me, he's like, if I
usually it goes the other way.
I know, right?
Right. But that movie had such a great ending, too, where the Scoutmaster, she's like, blue light special. Cookies.
Totally.
But anyway, the show is Wayward Pines. Carla, thank you so much for coming on. I'm a big fan. Wayward Pines on Fox, Thursdays, 9 p.m. It's directed, and did he write too? M. Night Shyamalan?
No, well, he came in and did some work on it, but Chad Hodge wrote the first one,
Okay.
And adapted it from the novels.
All right, so there you go. Carla Gugino on Twitter and Instagram. You got your full name on both, which is great, because a lot of people in Hollywood and sports and all that stuff don't seek to get all that out together.
Well, what I'll tell you guys is, you guys who are listening to us right now, is that I just did this. I just got my name back. And so I'm